Hi, I'm Dark Shades, aka Blackbright News, Managing Editor. Now this video is about, well, it was triggered by somebody who wrote me a comment and said, why is it that men, they sweet talk you to get you into bed, and then once they get you into bed and they've slept with you, they're still telling you that they're really into you, and then they just disappear or whatever it is she says they do. I'm wondering if black women, I'm talking about black women because I'm black, not because it's exclusive to black women. I'm wondering why black women have to always be a conquest. Or do we always have to be a conquest? That is the question. It's almost as if the black man sees us as a conquest. And so because we have the label that we're difficult, we're aggressive, we're angry and all of these things, it's almost like it's deemed necessary to try and battle it through, to break us down, and then once you've broken us down, to take advantage, make us feel inadequate or insecure, and then move on. I mean, the way, from what I got from this lady, it appears that some men, they have they've made the conquest. In other words, they conquered the woman. Now it's time to say, yeah, adios. Now, I don't believe that men only want women for sex. There was one commentator who said, oh, they can't stand us, that is why they use us as sex tools. And I think that's a load of bull, because I believe that anybody who is used for sex is because that is how they make themselves to be. I don't believe that a man just wants a woman for sex. I think it's how you behave after you've had sex with that person and how that relationship develops. Now, if after you've had sex with a person, you know, you're going on insecure and you're calling him and you're changing the dynamics, maybe he's going to think, oh, bloody hell, you know, I don't know what I've taken on. But it's not because he's had sex with you, he just wants to have sex with you and wants to move on. It's the behaviour that follows that sexual experience. Well, that's what I think anyway. I really don't believe, I think it's very childish when people say, oh, he only wants me for sex. I think that's a very childish attitude. But what I do think is true is that men like the conquest. And what it does is that it makes women build up emotional walls. It makes them always on their guard. It makes them skeptical about giving their selves to a man. It also makes them reserved about the man's intentions, especially if they feel that after they're conquered, in quotes, they're going to be discarded because the excitement has gone. I mean, how long do you keep up that excitement? I mean, some people of other races, they keep up, especially well, I don't want to generalize and say Americans, but I have seen some Americans, they play that game all the way to the altar, that hard to get game. And then it's not until after they've got the man to the altar, they let their guard down and then they become normal. And I think that's why, you know, a lot of men who say, oh, she's changed after we got married. That is because the man has been so busy concentrating on the conquest and forcing that woman into a position where she has to be a certain type, and in order to keep him, because if she dares relax or she dares gives herself to him in a way that is deemed needy or too much, he's moving on. So she plays this hard to get game, and, you know, this keeps herself reserved, closes down all the emotional walls, or she puts up emotional walls. And so he doesn't really get to know her. And so once she's married him, then those walls come down. Then he sees who he's really got, who he's really married. and he feels cheated. But the thing is that men have to understand that women just want to be loved for who they are. They don't want to have to be playing this game of batting and hitting and batting. They don't want to play that game. They don't want to have to, when you become distant, they become distant, or when you become close, they become close, and when they become distant, then you come forward. And all of that kind of stuff. You decide to call, and then you don't decide to call to see if she's needy, or you decide to call when you feel as though you've left it long enough and she hasn't gone mad, and when she picks up the phone she's quite normal in quotes. So, and then you deduce from that she's an okay woman because she's not running you down, she seems pretty relaxed, and goodness knows what. Women who behave like that couldn't give a toss. That's why they're behaving like that. And then the ones who do care like that, those are the ones you disregard and throw them to the curb. And so it's a losing battle for both, because the one who behaves like she doesn't care probably really doesn't care, neither here nor there. And the one who does care, she's the one who has to pretend like she doesn't care in order that she can keep her man. So, you know, I just think it's a bit, I think it's a bit disappointing that that's the way it seems to be, that women always have to feel like a conquest, as though there's someone that a man has to get, you know, like a prize. And so they have to behave in a certain way to make themselves a valuable prize, when really it's tiring and it's exhausting. And so, yeah, that's all I've got to say. I don't know if any of you agree. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe you men don't want a conquest. I have no idea. I don't know what's going on in that little head of yours. All I know is that I've been watching Long Island. I've been watching Love Island, and I can see all those dynamics going on. I can see how the men, you know, they talk to a woman really nicely. The woman gives themselves to the man, and then he starts withdrawing, and then she starts getting insecure, and then he says, why are you getting insecure? And he's the one that's made her feel insecure by withdrawing and not reassuring. And oh, it's such hard work. I'm sure relationships are not supposed to be that hard work. But anyway, I'll leave you with those thoughts. Okay, bye for now.